So the green essence of presence was necessary for identity, and that identity
He was a ruler. So when this Malachi, this green essence, this representation comes down, it comes as a ruling force. Go ahead.
El Maluk, which is the third point in existence and the third attribute of Allah.
Because you're talking about coming into existence, then coming into creation. See, creation comes from existence. So when it says it's a third point from existence, right? You're talking about when you explained early about the preceding coming from existence into creation. We're going to go to that. What it was what the master teacher was saying at that point was that you have stages of triple darkness, and each stage is of 3. Once you step into existence, if we was to go to, let's go to page 15 real quick. Not page 15, go to page 3 real quick. So I'll show you what I mean. You see at the bottom of page 3 where it says, Nuwapo means to convey a message that results in sound right reasoning. So there must be a conveyor and a listener of the message. In other words, if you're talking, you're giving a message, somebody got to listen to it. Okay, now the message is life. The conveyor is existence. Now there are 3 sets or triple darkness. The first set was what? Before light, before energy, and before what? Matter. Now at this third point coming out of existence, thus you get into the greenery because you're stepping into what we call today creation. And we're stepping into Malakut and we're giving an identification factor of green. How do you get green? You get green by combining yellow and what? Blue. So at this point, this Malakut had to come down so that you could recognize it. And he took on the components of the yellow, which is the sun, and the moisture of the water, and it produced green. But it also produced the green vitality of the body. The body is 70 to 80% of what? Water. But being that he came from a form of stages from existence to creation, you had to mark on what happened. This is what the master teacher's giving you by saying primary creation, secondary creation, and tertiary creation. Primary creation is coming from a form of gas station of 9 ether, right? Into 2 apertures split in half, kept together by zelis to produce an atom. Once that atom was produced, then it broke off into stages. The atom first was 1 cell, 1 electron, that was which we call hydrogen. It broke off into 2 and become 2 hydrogens and formulated helium. That's why they call helium H2. Helium burns back into hydrogen. Hydrogen burns back into helium. And with that continuous combustion caused the sun. The sun is the yellow part. From the sun, it stands to reason that there were particles exploded from the sun, 12 of them to be exact. They tell you 9, but it's 12. And got caught in the orbit of the sun, its gravitational pull. It started circling the sun. And each one of these particles, these hot rocks, became what you call today planets. Now this one was at the 6th point of carbon. When carbon was burning so fast and it cooled off, it caused the mist to go up, and which we call personification or water. With the sun hitting it and the water combined, thus the planet became green with plants. That's the same process that this Maluk had to take, becoming from existence to creation and coming into a standpoint of greenery, of mastery. Because what masters your planet? Greenery. Whether it's in the water of algae or whether it's trees on the surface, that's what causes the abundance is all green. Grass, trees, leaves, once again algae, plantains, all of that is green. That dominates your planet. That's the mastery of your planet. And the dominancy to create this is the blue, the water. Thus you have this whole planet is made up of what? Water. So when Christians tell you that the world was destroyed by water, how can that be? When the whole planet is what? Water. You can't destroy water with water. They made a mistake. They meant something else. So what happens is, let's keep reading. I had to show you that to show you the third point where it's coming from, to show you at one point in existence, there's no energy. There's no energy. We base everything on energy because we're on the other side of existence. When we're playing basketball, we saying we exert good energy. When some negative Negro come to your house, you say he got bad energy. You really mean bad karma, but you say bad energy, right? So we base things on energy because we're on the other side of existence. We're on the other side of creation. Because remember, once again, in order to get to have a beginning where you make something, you had to take it from something. And you take a beginning from creation. And creation comes from existence. Okay? Keep reading.
One will be El Ramun,
Right?
El Rahum,
That's right.
El Maluk,
That's right.
Michael Marduk, being the highest of all the rabbis of the Anunnaki.
Because he became the ruler, the green one, Melech, became the ruler. So he's the highest of all the angelic beings. Go ahead.
The Elohim of the crystal essence, which is the splendor of beauty.
Because it has the multiples of colors.
Light is a manifestation of energy, detectable, not speculated, but
See, because you can see light, it's detectable, but not speculated. In other words, when you see light, and I see that light coming through that Venetian blind, if I stay in a certain room, I can see all the colors in that one light beam. I can see the dust too. I see all the particles. So I can see that it's detectable because light is made of particles. But it's speculative because it's constantly moving. It's always moving. It doesn't stay still. Because when the earth, when the sun is here, we revolve around it. So we don't get all the life beams. So with the earth not staying still, you don't get all the light at times. You get the shadow hours and sometimes you get the light. That's what it means by speculating. We're constantly moving, the sun is moving, but the sun seems like it stays in place only because we're caught up in the orbit of the sun. Because the sun is spinning too. But we're spinning in unison with the sun. So that's why it seems like it stays still when it is also moving. So thus we get it as we can detect the energy of the light, because we call it colors, red, yellow, and blue. But the light is always speculative. Keep reading. But calculated. And we call the calculations yellow, red, and blue. That's what we're calling the light. Go ahead.
So Anu manifested himself the unformed in form to be detectable and logged in what called.
He didn't have no form, so he had to come in form, in the physical, to take on the qualities of hydrogen, to take on the qualities of the other atoms, so that he could be detectable to us. Why? Because if he would have remained there, we couldn't see him. We couldn't see him. So now at this point, this Anu becomes Elyon El. What does that mean? He becomes the Most High God because he manifests in front of you, and out of all the gods, he is the highest point. There is a point past the fourth plane where it's the Most High that never does that. Never comes in the universe. Never manifests the detectable. That's too high of a source, too powerful. That's the one where we're talking about in Is Jesus God? Talking about the one we bear witness to, because we can identify because he became detectable. Then there's another form in that same level that never comes in detectable. That you will, inshallah, bear witness one day. Why? Because remember, how did you come here? You came here as a thought. You were not a body. You took on a body. Here's what I mean. At one point, we were all pure mind. And all mind works on the principles of thoughts. So when we came here as a thought. You get it? You came here as a thought. When you came here as a thought, you traveled down the planes and you took on certain identification factors and coming with that thought. You acknowledge what a spirit was. You acknowledge what coming through planes were. So when you came here as a thought, the thought manifested in a parent and became known as a spermosa. But that wasn't just one thought, that was quite a few thoughts. So there was 7,777,777. Why? Because if the thought was with you as a sperm, and we were all one sperm, then there, in each ejaculation, there's 7,777,777 sperm cells in each ejaculation. That's a lot of thoughts. And the thought was intellect because everybody knew where to go. You didn't have no stop sign saying the egg is around the corner, make a left and go. It wasn't like that. You knew by intellect of that thought process to go because you wanted to become alive in a body. So you knew where to go to the egg. You already had that. But you didn't know there was going to be 7 million others. So you did a heck of a race to get the tag to that egg to go into that egg. And women want to know why it hurt. Because he's trying to get in there before everybody else. You see that? So what happens is, as you manifest this as a thought, you took on the personification of all the atoms. By virtue of the fact, when a woman breathes in the air, she takes on the atoms and the ions of the air, and that helps her to manifest the body around this thought, around this thought, this spirit.